Today, Dr. Pokemon has something to tell you. He needs a break. Wait, but before you close out this video, I'm not saying I need a break from Pokemon. I just need a break from my trade-up challenge. So today, I decided to take a side mission and just hit up a local card shop as I was driving through town and do some quickie deals. Just some quick trades, not really trying to go up in value, but more so just seeing if I could do some trades to switch up my portfolio a little bit before we get to the big Nashville card show that is coming up. So to start off, here are the cards that I have so far from my trade-up challenge. As you can see, I have traded so much that I have a small little portfolio here that I kind of need to trade up as well. The first card I trade is my Radiant Charizard for a Moltres V. I've had a lot of Charizard, so I thought it was time to switch it up a bit. Next up, we have someone's portfolio, and as you know, I love to show off people's cards. And while you get to watch me kind of just sift through these cards, I want to talk about what the goal for today really is. The goal is just to have a little fun, make some trades, no real value change, and in fact, at the end of this video, you're going to notice that I didn't put a gain or loss value, because from my calculations, I did pretty much break even, plus or minus a couple dollars here or there, but not really any big difference. And you might be thinking during some of these trades, wow, you really took a big loss on this trade or a big win on this trade. Well, I want you to know that I really didn't, because something I'm not really showing in the video is different conditions of different cards that we traded. So at the end of the day, I always made sure the trades were as close to 1-to-1 as I possibly could make it, unless it was a card that I really just wanted or it was a card that they really wanted. I usually just tried to keep it as close to 1-to-1 as I could. And you're gonna notice some special features today of some fans that I was really grateful to meet. So let's go ahead and move along in this video. So after looking through that huge binder of amazing cards, we did come up to a couple ideas for what we could trade. As you can see, I was looking through each card, just checking the quality, making sure there wasn't too much whitening or too much wear and tear. And if there was, I had to, of course, double check the price and see how much that would affect the value. Because again, these are cards that I will be using in my trade-up challenge later on, so I want to make sure that the overall quality is something I can trade. And you're going to notice a lot of these cards are pretty amazing. I really was happy to get a lot of these cards. And just, I mean, look at them. They were kept well. We had this nice Deoxys. We had a Pokekid. We had a lot of really cool cards that I was really excited to get. But it was a matter of what was I going to give in return. And in this case, it was one of my graded slabs. So for graded slab, you knew I had to make sure I did my due diligence. So here is everything that we ended up getting for this trade. As you can see, it was quite a haul. A lot of cards that kind of split up the value. And of course, this person who did trade with me did want to help out with the trade-up challenge. So they did give me a little extra value in there with some Radiant cards. And I knew the Radiants weren't worth a ton. But my hope was with the Radiant cards, I might be able to use them to do smaller deals, smaller trades, because they do look super nice. And honestly, I didn't mind trading up for this Pikachu, so here you go. Next up, we gotta sleeve up all these cards. And as you can probably tell, I am running out of space. Like, this binder that I'm using is pretty much full, and that is both good and bad. Bad because I don't know what to do with all these cards I'm getting. Next up, I actually met two fans of the channel, two of the Dr. Pokemon community. We met Grayson and Brady. These two are amazing. I actually got the chance to take a picture with them, and they had me autograph a couple things for them, and I really appreciated them. They were actually the first people I ever autographed anything for, so I really appreciated it. That is a memory that I will always remember. And of course, we had to look through their binder. They are relatively new collectors, so of course their binder wasn't as big as some of the vendors I meet, but their cards were amazing. They had so many cards that I wanted, but it was a matter of just getting the right trade going. And of course, I gotta check every single card. I gotta see what offer I can offer them and what offer they can offer me. And so we went through all their cards, and of course, one thing I always recommend to everyone is make sure you sleeve your cards. This is very important, and luckily, Grayson and Brady had most of their cards sleeved. I just want to make sure I iterate, though, that you want to make sure you keep your cards sleeved, because if you ever run into me, that's really important. All right, that's the first thing that I will see is, do you have your cards graded? And if not, You're gonna make Dr. Pokemon really sad, and you don't want to make me sad now, do you? So anyways, we went through all their cards, and of course we had to check both of their binders. Grace and Brady both had amazing binders, with some of the same cards, but quite a number that were different. And of course, I was just salivating looking at all of these amazing cards. It was just so hard to pick out a couple. And of course, you know me, I'm gonna go through their whole binder, so here's a little footage of that so you can get a good idea of what I had to work with. After going through their binders, here is the first trade we made. I needed that Rayquaza VMAX. I just knew that it was going to do really well in my trades later down the line. After that, I wanted their Charizard and Lugia. In exchange, I actually gave them my Champions Path booster pack, which I was really happy to trade to them because they seemed excited to open it up. And of course, they let me record them opening it because, well, let's face it, I needed to see if I missed out on a huge opportunity here by giving them the Champions Path. And of course, our little buddy here knew the trick of the trade when you're about to reveal some cards. Of course, we lost count because unfortunately I did distract him a bit, but we got it all squared out of the way, and here is what he pulled. So it wasn't a big hit, but nonetheless, I was happy that he got the chance to open it up. Next up, we had someone who just gave me a card to help with the trade-up challenge, which I always appreciate. Next up was a small vintage trade. I got a Mewtwo, Moltres, and Blaziken. I gave my Espeon. Now, I did want to state that the Moltres and the Mewtwo were not in the best condition, which is why this trade may have seemed one way at first, but at the end of the day, when I did the calculations, the prices came about the same. And so I knew personally that the Rocket's Mewtwo and the Moltres would probably be easier trades down the line, so I really wanted to add them to my arsenal. Next up, I got a Togekiss and a Rainbow Trainer. Here you just see me kind of sleeving one up real quick. In exchange, I gave up 3 of my cards, a Trainer, a Pokekid, and I gave up one of the Radiants that I had, because honestly, once again, I felt like the cards I got were going to be a little easier to trade down the line. Next up, we had a big one. You see all of these cards that I just got. In exchange, I gave all of these. I'm not listing all of them just because it was so many. After that, I got myself a Kleavor and a Colossal, which, again, thought they might come in handy down the line, so I figured why not, let's just see what we could do with those 2 cards. Next up, we were doing another somewhat big trade here. I was getting a Turbo Energy, which I felt some good vibes off of. I could feel that this was going to be an easy trade down the line. In exchange, I gave these 3 cards. And it was with Caleb, who actually was in the regional tournament. Him and his brother both competed, and his brother actually came in 2nd place, so shout out to him. Next up, we did another quickie deal here. We had a bunch of cards laid out, and we're trying to figure out what to do. At the end, we ended up getting these cards right here. And you see me just kind of separating them. In exchange, we gave all of these cards. And it's funny because 2 of those cards that I got from Josh here, who also was in the regional tournament, were from player packs, so they had a little bit more value than the standard card. After that trade, I actually traded a few of my Radiants and a Trainer for 2 cards. Specifically, I wanted that Mewtwo. Next, I had to get rid of my Garchomp finally, and I happened to get these 3 beautiful cards. That Radiant Venusaur is definitely going to come in handy. Now, these last 2 trades that I did were more so a personal trade. I really wanted these old cards that a couple of friends here had. These vintage cards belonged to Grayson and Brady, and these were the final trades that I did. I really wanted these, and I didn't actually know the value of them, and there were a lot of them, but he agreed to give me all of these older cards for these newer cards, which I truly appreciated, and I am very thankful for. And so by the end of this day, I actually got a lot of cards that meant a lot to me, and I got to do a lot of trades that a lot of kids were happy with and really wanted. So overall, I found this day to be a successful side mission.